I also can't just focus on the past. I can't do that to myself. My life has inherently blown up, and I am here pondering what to do about it. Maybe I'll be noted as that crazy person that grabbed their camera and started filming this whole process, but I think in the long term and in hindsight, I'll be really thankful that I did. So here's the scoop. I was a stay-at-home mom of 2 little boys, and now I have found myself staying with my sister with my 2 sons and waiting for my parents to move into the house that they just bought, which is like, how crazy is that timing? But my parents just bought a house a few houses down from my sister, and I will be moving in with them. It just all still feels so surreal to even talk about, and I don't want to get too into the weeds with any details or anything, as I am still processing a lot of emotions and just stuff. But overall, it's just funny because I really wanted a life change. Like, I was really looking to change my life. Like, in my 30th year, there were so many things that I feel like I wanted to go for, you know, just wanted to be the person I felt like I sort of lost after getting married and becoming a mom and all sorts of things. Just kind of like finding myself, rediscovering myself in a way, you know, just wanting to be better, always striving to be better, be a better wife, be a better mom, be a better person, get more ingrained in the community that I was in that pursuit, or not long after dedicating that change to myself. Obviously, some stuff happened and we had to leave. But my overall reason for even wanting to make this video and wanting to document this process is, one, as many people say, I do believe that when you're going through something hard, or in the times where you feel like you're most alone, you know that your story's not that special. And while this is all very difficult and hard to grasp and understand, and of course, like, I feel alone and rejected and all sorts of things, but in that same sense, it's also just like, I know that my story is not special and that I'm not alone, but I don't know that many people are super authentic or even like willing to share the process. And so I just felt, even for myself, like, to document for a year even where I am now, what my thoughts are, what I'm trying to figure out, what I want to try to do, goals, like all of the things. And then hopefully in a year, look back and say, like, wow, look at how much you've overcome. Look at how great you're doing. Look at your kids. Look at you. That is my hope. Obviously, we'll see what comes, but that is really ultimately why I want to do this. I want to help people. I want to be a light and a figure of just encouragement, of just hope, even through hard times, especially like as a mom with young kids. Overcoming challenges just feels that much harder, because sometimes parenting in itself, you just feel like you're drowning. So that is really the premise of all of this. So I'm staying at my sister's right now. We're not going to be here that much longer, and then we'll be moving in with my parents in about a week's time. And so I'm staying at my sister, helping her with her little one while she's working, and have my 2 boys here too. It's just crazy, you know, when like life doesn't go according to plan, I guess you could say, but when literally, I mean, I don't know how else to describe this other than saying that life blew up, because never in a million years would I have thought that this would be happening to me at 30 years old. I mean, I don't feel like I saw this situation coming, and maybe that was foolish on my end, but, you know, I think when I have faced difficulties in my life before, and I would assume that many people can relate to this, that you just sort of reach a crossroads. And I think that in that crossroads, it's sort of a decision you have to make of like, how are you going to go about this hard time? Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to take the high road, or are you going to be a victim? Are you going to use all of the emotion and the energy and the hurt and the confusion for something that can benefit you long term, or are you going to stay the same and maybe even get worse? And honestly, I feel like both can be justified. I mean, anything that I'm feeling, anything that I might say, I think, at least in the freshness of this time, many people would be extremely empathetic of me. They would probably stroke that idea of being a victim and allow it for a time, but I don't think it serves any purpose. I think those two roads is like understanding that you're going to experience pain and accepting that and allowing yourself to like walk through that pain and then come out better, or it's experiencing the pain, but allowing that pain to put you into suffering. And I think with suffering, you're just allowing yourself to be rejected. You're allowing yourself to feel more than what is necessary. And I just don't want to do that. I feel like I can't do that. As a responsible parent, as a mom of literally a 1 and an almost 3-year-old, I can't. Like there is no room for that. And I've been at home with them since they came. Like they're used to me 24/7. I am their main caretaker always. And so I can't just like vanish out of depression or not be who I was. Of course, I want to allow myself the grace and space to be emotional and like deal. But in this time, they are a huge force pushing me forward to just want to be better and do right by them. I don't think that suffering or wallowing in any pity or anything like that is going to serve me, and it's certainly not going to serve them. Life is inherently about making decisions, right? And I think we're so often just faced with having to make decisions that we're not totally prepared for. And I don't think that that has to be a bad thing. I know for myself, when I have a direction that I'm trying to go, when I am working on myself and trying to build the character that I want for myself and for my kids and my family, it makes decisions a lot easier. Overall, at this point, I would say that my biggest issue, not even issue, but like my biggest thing that like pulls anxiety out of me and that makes me feel so stressed is like, what am I supposed to do now? Because I am a person that is a big believer in parents being home with their kids. Like if you can be a stay-at-home mom or dad, whatever, however it needs to work for you. But I just feel like at least from the ages 0 to 3, that it is so imperative and like important for a parent to be home and develop that relationship with their kids. I mean, I would hope for even 5 years or beyond, depending, on the situation. That was just something I was so thankful to have. And that is the biggest thing that I am kind of dealing with right now. Like, what do I do? Because this is the biggest decision. I don't want to do things conventionally. I don't feel like I believe in what society kind of convinces us to and throws at us. I don't believe in daycare and preschool. I'm just not really an advocate for that, which is why I was home in the first place. Not only is it so expensive, but also I don't know that I believe the benefit of any of it at all. That's okay if you do. I grew up being dropped off at people's houses and going to daycare and all of those things. It's just not something that I have ever felt pulled to. I don't have peace with it. And as parents, I think we do need to follow the peace we have when raising our kids. Basically at a point now that I feel like I am willing to do and try absolutely anything that I can to be as present and like home as often as I can with my kids. And so documenting this process is definitely just a pull in that direction, because YouTube can be such a great platform and I think like tool for parents and moms who want to stay home. I mean, yeah, I'm not like a huge proponent of a lot of parts of social media, but when you see what it can offer in terms of like flexibility and income, that is such an amazing and beautiful thing. So, I mean, I just feel like it's make or break at this point. And I had a lot of goals that I was going to try to go for anyway. And now is the time. I know that I don't have time to waste messing around. And so I just feel like all of the things that I wanted to try, all of the things that were deeply in my entrepreneurial spirit that I put off because I was home and didn't know how to find that balance, I have to just try and go for. And so that overall is going to be a huge part of this channel, is just exhausting all options. I don't want to believe that I can't still have the life that I believed that I was supposed to have because of what's happened. I don't want to be a person or a story, oh, this is what happened to me. Instead, I want to make something of this. I want to make something of myself. I want to be able to provide for my kids and hopefully like give back to my parents in a great way for being able to even able and willing to take us in. And I know that they're happy and excited, and I know that there's so much more also coming out now about multi-generational living. I'm so thankful to be close to my sister and really just like have all of my family right here. But I got to do this for me too. There's a deep sense of wanting to prove myself. Like, what are you capable of? What can you do? And maybe there is a sense of like, this can't happen again. And so I want to be stable for myself, but I want to do all of this in a very healthy way. I think that there's this kind of push and pull of, you know, that unhealthy part of like, well, you obviously can't trust people now and you have to be independent, take care of yourself. I just think it was the wrong person in a bad situation. And I just need to leave it at that and move forward. And I don't want to think negatively of this. Instead, I want to be able to benefit from this. I will not let myself fall victim to this situation. I want to stay positive as I can, and I need to just get out of my head, just do the best that I can. You know, the stress I feel like comes in waves. One minute I'm fine and like looking at the bright side and excited, and then the next second it's just like, what am I going to do? How am I going to do all this? Where am I going to find the time? Will it even work out? This YouTube channel is a perfect example. I mean, I have no control over this, and already just walking away from something and realizing that I had no control over that either. It's like everything in life is kind of a partnership. Everything is somewhat of a team effort. I have to hold up my end and just hope that the other half plays in too. But I feel like I can't give up. I can't give up for myself. I can't give up for my kids. And I just have to try, and I have to do this, and I have to put myself out there and be uncomfortable and vulnerable and maybe get into the weeds eventually of more things. But I think at the end of the day, it will be worth it, and I'll be proud of myself. And I hope to just be some type of a landing place for a community, for people who need a soft landing when they're falling hard. And, you know, I feel so blessed to have had that with my family, and I know that not everybody does. And I can't imagine going through anything like this without anybody. You know, I hope that a lot more comes from this than just like growth for myself and proving to myself what I can do and building a life that I can be present and home with my kids and still provide enough. Family and community, I have found, even in the most recent months before this happened, is just so important. And it's something that I neglected and pushed away for such a long time in my life. And then it became even harder to like recover from that when having kids. And it's just something I want to fight for. And that will be a huge part of this too. So I do really hope to build a community. Like I said, I hope to be a light and a soft landing place, but I also hope to just inspire people and to let you know that like even in hard times you can use it for good. You can come out on the other side. You've got to have that grit and be willing to do the stuff. And I know that for the last 2 years I've been all dreaming and all planning and no grit, and now I'm at a place in my life where I really wish I would have had that grit, because then maybe things would have been more established. Maybe there would have been things more set in stone here, and it wouldn't feel so overwhelming and stressful, and I wouldn't feel like I don't know if I can. Like maybe the options already would have been exhausted, but I also can't just focus on the past. I can't do that to myself because it's done. It doesn't matter. And dwelling in the past is not going to serve me. It's not going to project me forward. Day by day and moment by moment, I know that I'm going to get through this, and I'm going to get through it better and healthier and stronger, because I am so determined to not let this affect me in a negative way. And I want to see truth for what it is and just continue to work on my character, because I think that is the best thing that I can do for myself and my community and for my kids, of course. I want to invite you to come along this journey with me, this journey of healing and exploration and all of the things parenting, from figuring out how to do motherhood with 2 boys kind of on my own and staying connected with family, just really getting into the conversations that I don't know are talked about publicly enough and sharing experiences. If you've experienced any hardship or overcome something big in your life that you never saw coming, I would love to hear about that in the comments. I would love stories, anything that you would care to share. I mean, it would be so encouraging for me right now, and I would love for this to just be a beautiful community of like moms and parents and just support for one another and love and the ability to have open conversations with one another and get into kind of the not sexy, tough things, even like frugality in a consumer's world and just all the things, because I am willing to go great lengths to just make sure that I can do the parenting that I want to do and not just let other people or someone else raise my kids. I want to be that sturdy figure in their life, and I know that I have been and I want to continue to be, but I also want to be that sturdy figure for myself. Just remember that when life blows up, it doesn't have to be the end. And if you're going through something hard, I just hope you know that I am here for you, I am rooting for you, and I hope that you can remember that when you feel like your life has completely blown up or you're in a place that you never thought you would be, that you are not alone and that you are strong and that you can get through it, and we can get through it together. Thank you so much for being here and spending a little bit of time with me today. Again, follow and like for the journey. If you're interested, leave comments below of any uplifting, positive, or encouraging stories that you care to share. I would love, love, love to connect and hear them.